faint, acrid smell of wood smoke woke me abruptly from a deep sleep, and I instantly knew it wasn't the lingering scent from my small extinguished campfire of yesterday evening. My heart hammered against my ribs, a primal fear seizing me, because the air outside my tent felt distinctly warmer than the pre-dawn chill usually enveloping my remote campsite. Carefully unzipping a small slit, I saw it, a fully built, roaring fire blazing just 20 feet from my flimsy nylon shelter, casting menacing, dancing shadows all around. There was no one visible, yet the logs were stacked perfectly, almost too neatly for a casual camper, and an unsettling silence enveloped the surrounding dense forest.
A twig snapped sharply in the nearby undergrowth, making me jump violently, convinced I heard faint, barely discernible breathing just beyond the intimidating light of the flames. Panic clawed at my throat as I realized my small hatchet, usually by the tent entrance, was now mysteriously missing from its accustomed spot beside my pack. I scrambled to pack my essentials, every rustle of my gear sounding deafeningly loud in the oppressive silence, feeling an intense, invisible gaze burning into my very back. Driving away, I couldn't shake the terrifying image of that solitary, uninvited fire, leaving me with an indelible, chilling conviction that I had never truly been alone out there.
The distinct, unsettling smell of burning cedar wood penetrated my sleeping bag, immediately jarring me awake with a jolt, as I definitely hadn't started a fire that night. A dull, flickering orange light began pulsating rhythmically against the thin fabric of my tent, indicating something substantial was burning just beyond my reach, unnervingly close. My breath hitched in my throat as I slowly, cautiously unzipped the entrance, revealing a perfectly stacked, intensely burning campfire just outside, completely unattended by anyone visible. The meticulously arranged logs created an almost ritualistic feel, unlike any casual fire I'd ever seen, and an unnerving sense of anticipation hung heavy in the frigid night air.
Suddenly, a large, dark figure seemed to materialize at the edge of the fire's light, standing completely motionless for a long moment before silently melting back into the shadows. I quickly zipped myself back into my tent, trembling uncontrollably, the oppressive silence of the woods now feeling infinitely more sinister and heavy with an unknown presence. The crackling of the uninvited fire outside continued steadily, a relentless auditory reminder of my terrifying situation, keeping me paralyzed by an overwhelming, suffocating dread until dawn. I packed everything at first light, fleeing that cursed campsite forever haunted by the inexplicable, perfectly built, and completely silent, uninvited campfire of that dreadful night.
I awoke to an unnatural warmth pressing against my cheek, utterly disorienting me, as I knew the temperature had dropped significantly before I finally went to sleep. A faint, sweet, metallic smell, definitely not wood smoke, wafted into my tent from the unknown source, intensifying my growing sense of profound unease and dread instantly. Peeking out, my blood ran cold. A small, meticulously constructed fire pit glowed ominously, surrounded by oddly arranged stones, positioned just inches from my tent flap. What truly horrified me were the tiny, crudely carved wooden effigies, each resembling a distorted human figure, carefully placed around the fire, facing my tent directly. A chilling, barely audible whisper seemed to emanate from the effigies, a soft, repetitive sound that made the hairs on my arms stand straight up in absolute terror. There were no footprints on the damp earth, no signs of anyone approaching or leaving, making the unsettling scene feel impossibly conjured from thin air right before my eyes. I huddled in my sleeping bag, frozen in absolute terror, listening to the crackling fire and those phantom whispers, praying desperately for the first hint of daylight to appear. I abandoned everything, running blindly through the pre-dawn forest, forever haunted by the image of those staring wooden figures and that unholy, silently burning, uninvited fire. A sudden, intense orange glow pulsed against my tent fabric, a silent alarm instantly jarring me awake, knowing with absolute certainty I had extinguished my fire completely. The heat radiating through the thin nylon was undeniable, a palpable warmth that filled me with an immediate, overwhelming sense of dread, my heart pounding violently. Peeking cautiously through a tiny zipper opening, I saw a perfectly contained fire, its flames dancing eerily, and knew instantly this was definitely not my own previously extinguished campfire. Then a low, guttural humming began, a rhythmic, unsettling sound that vibrated through the ground, seemingly coming from just beyond the strange, uninvited flames. It sounded like a primitive chant, repeating over and over, growing subtly louder, its unnerving cadence making every nerve ending in my body scream with primal fear. I froze, clutching my mouth to stifle a terrified gasp, terrified that any sound from me would instantly alert whoever or whatever was out there to my hidden presence. The chanting abruptly stopped, plunging the entire forest into an even more terrifying, profound silence. The only sound now the relentless, sinister crackling of the uninvited fire. I escaped at dawn, but the memory of that chanting fire lingers, an unforgettable, horrifying reminder that some wilderness places hold secrets better left undiscovered by solo campers. A faint, rhythmic crackling of wood, distinctly not my own, stirred me from sleep, immediately followed by the undeniable sound of a soft, unsettling human cough nearby. My heart pounded against my ribs, a cold dread washing over me, because I was absolutely certain I was the only person for miles around in this remote, isolated area. Carefully unzipping a small slit, I peered out and saw it. A roaring, unattended campfire, casting monstrous, dancing shadows against the dense, dark tree line surrounding my tent. What truly made my blood run cold was the ancient, soot-blackened iron pot hanging directly over the menacing flames, simmering with some thick, unknown, malodorous liquid. A single, freshly sharpened hunting knife lay ominously beside the fire pit, its blade glinting wickedly in the shifting light, positioned almost like a terrifying, silent invitation. The forest around felt unnaturally still, the absolute silence broken only by the crackle of the fire and the low, sinister bubbling sound from within the iron pot. I didn't even pack, abandoning my entire campsite, driven by an overwhelming, primal urge to escape whatever unspeakable horror had established this disturbing, uninvited nocturnal scene. The image of that simmering pot and glinting knife is seared into my brain, a chilling testament to the terrifying dangers lurking, unseen, in the deepest, most remote wilderness. My quiet solo camping trip was violently interrupted when an intense, unexpected warmth enveloped my tent, rousing me from a deep sleep into immediate, heart-stopping terror. A distinct, earthy aroma, strangely sweet and undeniably meaty, wafted in, completely unfamiliar, creating an immediate sense of profound unease and making my stomach churn unpleasantly. Carefully unzipping a small slit, my blood ran cold at the sight. A perfectly contained, blazing campfire just outside, casting long, grotesque shadows into the dense, dark woods. But what truly made my guts twist was the horrifying sight of a freshly killed, partially skinned deer carcass ominously positioned directly beside the uninvited blazing flames. The entire scene felt like a macabre ritual, silent and utterly devoid of human presence, yet undeniably orchestrated with a terrifying, unknown purpose I couldn't comprehend. I instinctively ducked back into my tent, my body shaking uncontrollably, every nerve screaming at me to flee this unspeakable, nightmarish tableau before it was too late. The thought of packing was impossible. I simply crawled out the back of my tent, abandoning everything, consumed by a desperate, primal urge for immediate, silent escape. I've never returned to that wilderness, forever haunted by the image of that fire and its grim companion, forever wary of the silent, predatory darkness hiding in the woods.